The first thing I noticed was the silence. No more whispers of the dead, no more crackling of arcane energy, no more distant wails of the damned. Just a silence. And then, the light. A soft, golden glow that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere all at once. It was peaceful, which was a stark contrast to the life I had led. I floated there, weightless, watching the mortal realm fade away like a distant memory. It was strange, really. I had always imagined the afterlife would be more dramatic. Fire and brimstone, perhaps, or an endless void. But this was almost pleasant. Almost. And then I saw them. My minions. My loyal, foolish minions. They were scurrying about like ants, tearing apart the countryside in their desperate search for me. I could see them clearly, as if looking through a window into the world I had left behind. There was Malika, my most trusted lieutenant, barking orders at a group of skeletal warriors. His face was twisted with frustration, his voice hoarse from shouting. And there was Zara, my apprentice, poring over ancient tomes in a frantic attempt to locate my soul. She looked exhausted, her eyes bloodshot, her hands trembling as she flipped through the pages. I couldn't help but laugh. It was a strange sensation, laughing without a body, but it felt good. Oh, how they misunderstood me. They thought I was invincible, that I had planned for every possible outcome. But the truth was, I had been so consumed with my own power, so confident in my abilities, that I had never even considered the possibility of my own demise. And now here I was, watching them tear themselves apart, trying to find a resurrection that would never come. The irony was delicious. I watched as Malika led a group of undead soldiers into a crypt, convinced that I had hidden my phylactery there. They tore the place apart, smashing coffins, overturning altars, but of course, they found nothing. Zara, meanwhile, had resorted to summoning spirits in a desperate attempt to communicate with me. The poor girl didn't realize that I was right there, watching her every move, unable to intervene. Days turned into weeks, and still they searched. The living world began to change in my absence. Without my influence, the balance of power shifted. Rival necromancers, sensing weakness, began to encroach on my territory. My minions, so focused on finding me, were caught off guard. They fought valiantly, but without my guidance, they were no match for the onslaught. It was both amusing and heartbreaking to watch. These creatures, these loyal servants, had dedicated their lives to me, and now they were lost, adrift without their master. They refused to believe I was truly gone, clinging to the hope that I would return. That this was all some elaborate test of their loyalty. But I wasn't coming back. As the days passed, I found myself growing more detached from the world I had left behind. The golden light of the afterlife beckoned, and I felt myself being drawn further and further away from the mortal realm. The last thing I saw before I crossed over was Malika, standing alone in the ruins of my once great fortress, his head bowed in defeat. And then, there was only light. I suppose, in the end, it was a fitting conclusion. I had spent my life manipulating death, bending it to my will, and now, in death, I had finally found peace. As for my minions, well, they would have to find their own way. Perhaps, in time, they would realize that their loyalty had been misplaced, that they had been chasing a ghost all along. But for now, I was content to watch from afar, a silent observer in the golden glow of eternity. And if I could have smiled, I would have. Because, despite everything, it was pretty funny.